Namaskar yogis. Today I'm going to be demonstrating the first set of yoga asanas offered by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, and I want to emphasize before I get started on any of the positions that the Maharishi Mahesh technique focuses and emphasizes effortlessness, and this is due to the nature of the mind-body complex. And according to Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, this nature is constantly driving towards a field of greater happiness, as he puts it. And so we can trust the nature of our body, the nature of our mind, to guide our asana accurately. And so, as with any asana practice, what feels good in your body is essentially telling your awareness that this is something that is beneficial for your physiology. And so these kind of cues should always be honored and always be observed. If something doesn't feel good in the body, that is your body's way of communicating that this asana doesn't serve you in the way that maybe it is intended. And this is totally okay. So any of these asanas that don't feel good, that don't resonate in your body, we can skip over and we can work towards them. We can come into them on a regular basis to feel them on a regular basis, because our body is very liquid. I think we're about 80% water, and so we're constantly changing form, we're constantly changing shape, we're constantly evolving. So something that doesn't serve you today may serve you tomorrow, and vice versa. Something that serves you today may not be right for your body tomorrow, and this is totally fine. And Maharishi emphasizes honoring these kind of cues from the body. Without further ado, Maharishi starts off in Sukhasana. Sukhasana is a comfortable seated position with the legs crossed. One of my teachers once told me that a soul cycle lasts for 7 years. And so you can either keep one leg on top for 7 years, or if you're not that rigid in your practice, every now and again just switch the legs. So this is Sukhasana, comfortable seated position. Here we work the knees towards the earth, and the idea of that is to lift the hips up higher than the knees. You can sit up onto a block to accomplish that. Alternatively, you could sit up onto the heels. And this posture is technically called Swastikasana, whereas this is Sukhasana, a subtle difference. So then once we come into our comfortable seat, our Sukhasana of choice, we then close the eyes and we perform what's called Sankalpasana. Sankalpasana is this same comfortable seat with the eyes closed. And this draws and directs the attention inward. I recommend highly allowing the awareness to fall onto the breath. Notice the subtle adjustments the breath offers the whole body. The deeper you breathe, the more noticeable these adjustments to the physical body are. We'll stay here for about a minute. And once we're done, we will draw the knees into the chest. And then with control, we'll roll down the spine. And every pose, Maharishi recommends coming into Chetanasana afterwards. Chetanasana is the same shape as Shivasana, but rather than being at the end of our practice and symbolizing the death of practice, it simply symbolizes and offers space to rest. The breath remains active in Chetanasana, whereas in Shivasana we relax everything and all effort is released. After a few breaths in Chetanasana, we sit back up and we accomplish Sambhahanasana. And this is whenever we offer the body touch and massage. It's important in our self-massage practice to understand the flow of lymph. Lymph is a substance that clears out the channels of the body. And lymph is always moving towards the heart. And because there's no pump associated with lymph, it's important that as we massage, we start off from the extremities and we work up towards the heart. And here again, we want to use our innate intelligence to guide our touch, to guide our hands. And so what feels good in the body is where we allow more time, where we emphasize more into, because what feels good in the body is, again, our attention saying to the body, this is something that we need. And we should always honor these kind of subtle signals from the body. This is our body's language to us. It's the way that our body speaks to us. And if we ignore the signs of our body, we can easily come into more chronic conditions. And I think even more importantly is that the body stops speaking to us in this plain way and has to start speaking in louder terms, which usually leads into some kind of chronic illness. So once we have massaged the body, again moving from the extremities towards the heart, we can then come into Velanasana. Velanasana, once again, we're going to pull the knees into the chest, roll down the spine, and here we have a couple of options. We can bring the hands over the knees, we can grab opposite arms or elbows, the skull can come down to the earth. If we don't have any neck tension or problems with our upper spine, the head can lift. The head of the arm bones roll back in space so that the heart space remains open. Deep pranayama is offered to every single posture. 5 to 6 breaths. After 5 to 6 breaths in Velanasana, Chetanasana. So the supine resting position. Two to 3 breaths. And then as we inhale, men are going to bring the right knee in. Ladies are going to bring the left knee in. We're going to bring the left hand, as I'm a woman, onto the left knee. The right hand comes down the right leg. Both feet remain actively flexed, but we don't want to flex so much that we create any kind of tension. So there's muscular energy coursing through the body, but this doesn't create tension in the system. And then again, we have several options, so we could stay here. This is the lightest version of the pose. If we want more activity, we can lift the right leg or the opposite leg, the extended leg out. If this causes any kind of tension in the hip, we have the option to keep the heel down, or we can bring the foot up, hip bent at about 90 degrees, and then we gradually work this leg down as the body opens to receive the position. And eventually this will feel good. If we don't have any cervical spine issues, the head and the torso can lift. And as with every other posture, roughly 5 to 6 breaths. We'll inhale both knees in, exhale opposite. Padsanchalasana. Exhale after 5 to 6 breaths. Chetanasana, 2 to 3 breaths. The next posture, the shape is very similar, but there are subtle differences. So again, men first right, ladies first left. And this time we're going to actively pull the knee in towards the chest, both hands around the top of the knee. And then the same options do apply. The heel can come up towards 90 degrees, the chin and chest can lift. But what's most important is what feels good in your body. This is always what we seek out. A pleasantness associated with the asana. And this pleasantness we allow to fill the senses. And if pleasantness does not arise, then we shift. Paramuktasana, both sides. And then we'll release down, Chetanasana. Inhale, men right leg first, ladies left leg first. Here, Utti Eka Padasana, we want to have the head of the arm bones down onto the mat so that the collarbones open up, the heart space reaches out. And then from here, without allowing the shoulders to come unglued from the mat, we walk the hands gently up the leg as far as it'll come comfortably and without the head of the arm bones reaching up off the mat. Both feet remain actively flexed, again drawing muscle energy throughout the leg. We can then inhale the right leg up or opposite leg up, exhale, opposite leg down. Utti Eka Padasana. Exhale, Chetanasana, 2 to 3 breaths. The next posture is an inversion, and it's very important that we're able to access the muscle energy of the neck. So a lot of the times we'll have our hair up and this can get in the way. So make sure that the hair is out of the way. If you need to pull your hair down, do so, but so that we can actively press the skull down into the mat comfortably. The shoulders are going to tuck into the midline. We bring the knees First up, feet up, deep breath in. As we exhale, we press the skull down. This muscle energy is the only thing protecting the neck, so it's very important to maintain that activity. And then as we exhale, we're going to press the feet up. Hands come to the low ribs of the back, Sarvangasana. And we keep pressing the skull down. Deep breath in, and then to come out, we'll bring the palms facing down, and then we'll roll down the spine, and we'll come to Chittanasana, 2 to 3 breaths. And all of these postures can be repeated as it feels right in the body. The next pose, the same muscle energy of the head is going to be required. We're going to draw the knees in, heels in, and then we bring the hands down. We work towards getting the hands around the ankles, but at a minimum, the heels are going to be hip distance width apart, and at a minimum so that the longest finger can touch the heel. We then tuck the shoulders into the midline, again opening up the heart space. If the hands can comfortably come around the ankles, we do so. The knees draw in towards the midline. Breath in. As we exhale, we press down into the skull and down into the feet to lift up the heart space and the hips. Cut the asana. And once again, it's important that the skull stays pressing down. After 5 to 6 breaths, we release the glutes down. As a counter stretch, I always like to come back into Vilanasana. And then we'll release to Chittanasana. Coming into Chittanasana after every pose. If you've taken yoga, I'm sure that you've known that Shavasana is emphasized at the end of practice so that all of the benefits can be integrated. We give the body activity and then rest. As Maharishi explains, these are the steps to progress. But by offering Chittanasana after each and every pose, it gives the body an immediate chance to integrate the benefits of the increased breath, of the increased blood flow, of the increased prana. So after 2 to 3 breaths, we are then going to come onto the stomach. And there are a variety of ways to come to the stomach from here. I have been working on Chakrasana and I'd like to share it today. So from our Sarvangasana, we release back. We bring the hands next to the head. And then we press back. We release the heart space down. Hands right next to the heart. We're going to roll the head of the arm bones back. And then we lift up the torso. If Chakrasana isn't accessible, we also have the choice to just roll up and then back. And then we also have the choice from our backs to just roll over. however we need to accomplish it, we find ourselves in Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. And here in Cobra, the tops of the feet actually push down into the mat. The knees engage in towards each other. The head, the arm bones again roll back. The elbows are going to stay in towards the midline. And we're going to press the heart up. As we exhale, it's beneficial for the hands to be energetically moving back. And I'll show you, it's a very subtle difference, but this is me pushing my hands forward, forward, and then back. And if you see forward, back, it very subtly opens the heart space and allows the heart to be leading energetically the posture. 5 to 6 breaths here. And we'll exhale to release. And this time, instead of coming into Chetanasana, we just lay one cheek down and bring the hands back. Two to 3 breaths. As we inhale, we are going to come now to Ardha Shalabhasana. And this is facing down, hands face down. You can come to the chin, the forehead, or to one cheek as it serves you. And then we're just going to inhale and lift one leg. Exhale. Inhale opposite. Exhale down. And we can do that alternating 2 to 3 times or as it feels good in the body. Next, we are going to come into Vajrasana. And to do this, we come up, Bhujangasana. We bring the torso back. Knees are going to stay together. Feet together. Hands can come down or up. Down is more grounding, up is more receiving. We have a couple of options here as well. If we are in this position and it feels like it's stretching the front of our legs or our knees, we can stay here. This means that it's already accomplishing the work of opening the body. If we are more mobile and we need a deeper stretch, we can bring the feet out. We can sit the hips in between the feet. Knees are going to be all the way together. If we have the feet out, we're going to bring them back in together. The shins are going to stay parallel. As we exhale, we reach the heart space forward, Shashankasana. And then we are going to come back into our resting pose. I recommend opposite cheek down, just to find energetic balance through our practice. Next pose, we come back into a seating. And so again, we have several options from here. We can cross the ankles, sit back, draw the feet out. From here, we can sit up and then come into a squat and then pike the feet out. From here, we can come up, downward facing dog, and then we can jump through. However we need to come to our comfortable seat, however makes us feel good, makes us feel empowered, makes us challenged, is how we're going to come, what we're going to work through. Into our seat, we are going to bring first ladies left, men right. Just one leg in, and we're going to bring the sole of the foot to the inner thigh. We're going to square the heart and the shoulders with the front of our mat and the front foot. The pinky side of that front toe reaches back. We lift the heart space. As we exhale, maintaining integrity in the spine, we just fold at the hips. And wherever we come, that we first feel a stretch, this is where we stay. We find that space that we feel the body expanding and opening, and we just breathe and allow that pleasantness to overcome the senses. Janu Shirasana. We'll inhale to lift, exhale opposite, shoulders square, heart forward. And to do this, I always like to think of my heart reaching towards the toes, and that creates more space in the spine. Whenever we try and reach the head towards the ankle, I see a lot more curvature in the spine, and we really want to focus on allowing the correct alignment of the spine to be accomplished. Again, 5 to 6 breaths. We'll inhale to come up, exhale to release. Same exhale down, Chettanasana. Next posture, once again, we'll sit up. Ladies, left leg in, gentlemen, right. Lift up the spine. And then as we exhale, we're going to bring the right elbow to the left knee, the left hand back behind. Every single inhale, the spine lengthens. Every single exhale, we deepen over towards that left side. And here, even the drishti, the gaze, the eyes come over to the left side as much as they can in the socket without creating discomfort or tension. Full and active breath. Vakrasana. Inhale to center. Exhale to release. Inhale opposite. Exhale twist. Inhale to center. Exhale to release. Same exhale down through Chettanasana, 2 to 3 breaths. We'll inhale the knees into the chest, Velanasana. And then we're going to rock back and forth on the spine until we can come up into Uttanasana, forward fold. And here we are going to have the feet hip distance width apart so that the edges of our feet are parallel with the long edge of our mat. We're going to bring the hands underneath the feet. And then we're going to shift the weight gently in towards the balls of the feet. Bending the knees however much is necessary to accomplish this is totally fine. And then we work towards straightening the knees. I'm super hypermobile, and anybody who is hypermobile, notice your knees Don't allow them to lock. Keep a micro bend in the knees. Head of the arm bone rolls down the back away from the ears. Heart space remains open. Hastabadasana. Inhale to release. Exhale down. And again, however we need to come down. We're then going to come into a final Chetanasana. Two to three breaths. And then we're going to sit up into our Sukhasana once again. And I have heard this called Nadi Shodhana, but the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi tradition calls this Sukh Pranayama. And Sukh Pranayama is alternate nostril breathing. In the body, and in the yogic anatomy physiology, we have 72,000 nadhis, which are these energetic channels. And there are three dominant channels. There is the three dominant nadhis. There is Ida, Pingala, and these two start off in the sacrum, the center of the body, which is about 4 fingers below the belly. And from this, the center of the body, the center of energy from the sacrum, these two energies stem up and then swirl around the chakras and then meet in the Anja chakra, the third eye. And whenever Ida and Pingala, the left and the right, the masculine and the feminine, are not disturbed, are not blocked as they spiral up the channels of the chakras, or the wheels of energy, which are the chakras, then a third channel can then open, which is called Sushumna. And this Sushumna, rather than spiraling around the chakras, because the chakras are already engaged, already energized, the Sushumna goes directly from the sacrum out the crown. And activating nadis through breath helps to clear out any blocks that the physical body may have, whether it be in Ida or Pingala, the left brain, the right brain, the masculine, the feminine. This alternate nostril breathing is going to stimulate, so the left nostril stimulates the right brain, and the right nostril stimulates the left brain. And typically in a healthy adult, the mucous membrane of the nostril will shift every 2 hours. And sometimes whenever we're not balanced, whenever we have disease, this shift doesn't happen regularly or in the same timely manner that it should. And so this can cause dysfunction as far as the nadis go, as far as the subtle energy channels go. And so by doing this manually, by alternating nostrils, we are allowing the body that balance of stimulation of the left brain and stimulation of the right brain. So without further ado, we're going to bring of the right hand the thumb to the right nostril, the middle finger and the pointer finger come up to the third eye, or you can alternately just curl them in. And then we're going to reach the pinky pointer out, deep breath in through the left side. We then bring the pinky pointer to the left nostril and we exhale out the right side. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale, right. Inhale. Switch. Exhale. Inhale. Switch. Exhale. Inhale. Switch. Exhale. Inhale. Switch. Exhale. Inhale. Switch. Exhale out the left. And then release the right hand down to complete Sukha Pranayama. Any questions, please leave in comments. I'm always happy for inquiry. Other than that, thank you so much for your time, your energy, your space. Namaste.